And the price of Britain's traditional takeaway fish and chips is set to rise as a result of sanctions on Russian whitefish, as well as sharply rising energy prices. Disruption to the supply of fish and other key commodities is expected to drive up prices. Our correspondent from the United Kingdom, Ericka Celestino, reports from London. Ericka.
On a sunny they have weathered the storm of Brexit and COVID and are fighting the tide of rising inflation. But thousands of British fish and chip shops could be sunk by the war in Ukraine. At Captain's in the seaside resort of Brighton on England's south coast, owner Pam Sandu is normally not one to complain. Yet the shelves of her large refrigerators are empty when they should be full of fresh white fish ready to be dipped in batter and deep fried that's served to hungry customers with piping hot chips.
Fish is just so expensive at the moment, and people can't find the sizes that we want. This is all post-pandemic. It's you buy it as a graded size, and I think people are struggling to source the ones that they need, what they usually use. So that's affecting things a little bit.
In ordinary times, Russia supplied between 30 and 40% of the fish sold in British fish and chip shops, mostly cod and haddock. Ukraine is the world's biggest exporter of vegetable oil, which is used for deep frying what the NFF calls Britain's undisputed national dish.
What needs to happen is other countries like Norway, I think the UK as well, they produce a lot of whitefish. We need to start stepping up and filling in for the position which once was Russia's, and that will take some time. But we're trying to absorb these costs as much as possible. We don't want to pass it on to the consumers.
Sandu's restaurant has a terrace that looks out onto Brighton's Pebble Beach and Pier. She bought it 3 years ago and had planned to open in March 2020. Then came COVID, followed by rising inflation, and now the war in Ukraine and sanctions against Russia. It's been the perfect storm for fish and chips vendors. On a sunny spring Friday in late March, Sandu was worrying whether she would even have enough fish to get through the weekend.
Well, we've been in this industry for over 30 years. There's never, ever been a shortage on fish. We've never looked at it, any shortage on any products than what we're going through now.
Crook, a fish and chip shop owner in Lancashire, northwest England, has increased his prices by 50p, a portion to £8.50. Fish has become even more expensive because some British trawlers are staying in port due to the high cost of fuel.
The other thing that's happening as well, a lot of the domestic fleet aren't going out fishing because of the cost of fuel. It's just not worth them going out and setting sail, so that's further pressure on the supply of fish, and it's driving prices further north.
Fish and chips, first served as a single dish in the 1860s, has long been a working class staple, although demographic and dietary changes have seen its popularity wane in recent years. The takeaway favorite, covered in lashings of salt and vinegar, used to be wrapped in old newspaper and is typically served with mushy peas or tartar sauce.
You know, but we do have to keep supporting all their local businesses, and as long as I can afford it, I will come down and have fish and chips whenever I can, because it's part of my growing up, it's part of my culture.
Reporting from London, Ericka Celestino, back to you, Alma.